5:15, I shall call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to this Tuesday, February 11th, regular City Council meeting. We shall start out with roll call, please. Carolina?
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Selby? Miller?
Yes.
Pelton? Mayor Wallers?
Yes. Okay, we will move on to tonight's agenda, and I will entertain from the members of the council if they have any additions or corrections that they would like to make. Now would be a good time for that. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition that we received via email for under consent agenda item E, which is already on there, application for an exempt permit.
Yeah, she had
Yep.
originally requested to add it, and it looks like she's already got it on there. So. Overachiever over there, got it done.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we will move on to the citizens' comments portion of our meeting. And for those of you in the audience that would like to address the council, now is your moment. Please address the council, move up to the mic. Yeah, Mary Elizabeth, I think you know the drill, so.
Hi, I'm Mary Elizabeth Bezanson. I have three things. One, I think the council should reconsider the notion that people must give their addresses. Given the tumult of recent meetings, I think that can lead to people misbehaving. So I thought that the city should think about having people not give their addresses. And frankly, when Next Gen presented, none of them that I heard gave their addresses. So I just thought it was something you could consider. Okay, the second thing I thought, see, I'm counting for you. The second thing is that I found out rather late that there was a snow emergency declared for Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. There was only 2 inches of snow, so I measured it with my yardstick. So I was surprised. I think others were surprised as well. It turns out that the city's website did not say there was a snow emergency. It also did not say what to do if your car was towed. And hardly anybody that I know has $250 in cash in their house on a weekend. So people weren't going to be able to get their cars back. I just think that the city might take an opportunity to explore better ways of communicating with new members of the community, because they're not necessarily reading the newspaper, even though I am Olivia every week. And that doesn't help you when you're having a snow emergency. There's going to be supposedly 8 inches of snow on Saturday. I think that might constitute a snow emergency. So now would be a good time to make sure everything was updated and ready. Okay, number 3. According to the city charter, which I Xeroxed, section 7.05, ice and snow on public sidewalks. Haven't talked about this for a whole year because last year was good. We didn't have any snow. Sub 1. All snow and ice remaining upon public sidewalks is hereby declared to constitute a public nuisance and shall be removed by the owner or tenant of the abutting private property within 2 days after such snow or ice has ceased to be deposited. It has ceased to be deposited, people. There is ice and snow on multiple sidewalks in this community. So I was wondering who is in charge of enforcing this city ordinance. You don't have to tell me, but what do people do if there's ice and snow in their community? What should we do? Okay, Well, this has been very enlightening. When someone decides what I should do about the ice and snow, okay, I take it the city will take care of the removal of ice and snow. Just for your edification, sub 2, city to remove ice, snow, and ice, the city may cause to be removed from all public sidewalks beginning 3 days after the snow and ice has ceased to fall. All snow and ice which may be discovered thereon, and it shall keep a record of the cost of such removal on the private property adjacent to which such accumulations were found and removed. Feel free to remove the snow and ice. It's been over 3 days. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary Elizabeth.
No problem.
Would anybody else care to approach the council at this time? We're still in the citizens' comments portion of our meeting. And just so everybody kind of knows how protocol works with council meetings, when we allow citizens' comments, typically we don't take immediate action on those comments, but just know that it's up here, and we will probably have a discussion about that. So I just wanted everybody to know that your comments are appreciated and welcomed. Okay, seeing that nobody else would like to approach the council, we shall move on. Tonight, we do not have any public hearings, so we shall move on to reading and approval of our regular meeting minutes from January 28th, 2025.
I will move approval of the regular minutes from our January 28th regular meeting with the correction as noted, with a note was sent to us that on the airport engineering to hire the firm, it was stated in here, if I find it, where Councilman Miller motioned and seconded. It was Miller motioned and Salvi seconded on both copies, both the regular and the condensed.
I will second with that amendment.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the January 28th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We shall move on to the January 28th, 2025 condensed version of the minutes, and that is for a shortened condensed version for the paper. And I will move approval of the condensed version of those meeting minutes.
I will second that.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next before us is our consent agenda, which consists of the audit of city bills, gambling reports, an application for exempt permit, AMVETS Post 290, an application to conduct excluded bingo, Morris Area Women of Today, and the last one before us is an application for exempt permit, NWTF Stevens County Gobblers. Must be a new organization, I believe. Turkeys, I'm
Has
assuming.
been for
It has
3-4
been,
years. Yeah,
yeah.
has been.
Gobble, gobble. Here we go. Okay. And I shall move approval of those items on the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the items on the consent agenda. I will bring it back to the city council for any discussion on any of those items.
I think the only question that I had, and this is probably a broader discussion, is line 46. It includes our law enforcement, and I know you and Brian, Jeff had conversations with the county about what that looks like. Did we get any resolution there, or what did that?
We're still working on
Working
it.
through
We've
that.
had one meeting, we actually met in-house, Ryan, myself, and Becca,
Okay.
and had planned on having a meeting again yesterday, but Mr. Sully was not feeling up to
Sure.
it. So just planning on working on it yet, but just going through and looking at, just received a copy of the agreement, and our current agreement does run through 12/31
Yes.
of 2026. So just able to adjust out some of the wages, some of the different costs, things of that type in between there on an annual basis. So working on it. Still waiting, getting information back and forth from Rebecca at the county and working here with some different questions and some different ideas. So
Sure.
when we have some things that we come to agreement or that we work on, I guess we'll update and continue informing the rest of the council.
Thanks, Jeff, for the update. Any other items on the consent agenda anybody would like to discuss? If not, we have a first and a second on that. I can just ask for a voice vote on that if we're no further questions. All those in favor of approval of the items on the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we have some petitions and requests and communications. That's the next items up. We have the first item, which is Tourism Board Marketing Recommendation. And I think what I may do is, Becca, if you want to speak to that for a moment, you sure can.
Yeah, so the tourism board met last week. They discussed different requests. So one was a free Financial Peace University workshop, fly-in, and then the 2025 Explore Minnesota Tourism Conference. So the Zion Lutheran Church wanted to have us do anything for advertising on our website, on our tourism board for their financial peace workshop. It was the consensus of the group to have that one go to the chamber and talk to them for future events like this. Then there was some fly-in requests for some dollars for either bathrooms or they already had a flyer made, so not necessarily advertisement, but the one that they're not spending any dollars, but they are going to advertise the event with their flyer on the tourism site. And then the 2025 Explore Minnesota Tourism Conference is next week. So looking at sending myself and Carolina to that again this year. So that one they did approve, and that one we are asking to use the tourism dollars for hotel and stay and conference registration for the tourism conference. So that's the only one that we'll be asking for any dollars from.
Well, I think it's certainly a worthy event down there, and it's the 18th and 19th.
Yep, next Tuesday and Wednesday.
And you don't need approval for that, do you, to attend for those funds, or do you?
I would like a motion just to use the funds
Okay.
for that, yep.
All right. Any discussion from the council? Again, I think it's a good use of our tourism money, and hopefully you'll come back with some ideas. And I guess I will make a motion to approve the tourism board marketing recommendations as per the city manager's recommendation.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the tourism board marketing recommendations, and once again, I'll just have a voice vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item before us is a tourism board recommendation for Prairie Harvest Fest participation. And once again, Becca, if you want to just maybe touch the highlights on that, that would be great.
Yeah, so this year's celebration will be September 26th through the 29th. So the last few years, we've used the tourism dollars to pay for bounce houses and fireworks, and then advertising dollars for marketing. So at the board meeting, they approved recommending the same as we've done in previous years. So the dollar amount for the bounce houses are $2,167.62, and fireworks are up to $7,500. We are looking at going with a different company that does fireworks locally in Chicago. He did their fireworks there, and so they were. If we go with him, it's going to be less, about $5,000. So, but just ask that we keep it up to. That's what we had it here, but it'll probably be quite a bit less.
I'm assuming he has insurance and all that
Mhm.
good stuff. Okay, well, I guess if you can save us some money and get the bigger bang, or as
Mhm.
big a bang for your
Yeah.
buck. So.
Yeah,
Literally.
absolutely.
And this is in line with what we approved.
Have done previous
Yeah.
years. Yep.
Yeah. Well, with that, I will move approval or make a motion to approve the tourism board recommendation for the Prairie Harvest Festival participation.
And I will second that also.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second, and once again, I'll just ask for a voice vote on that. Tourism, to approve the tourism board recommendation for Prairie Harvest Fest participation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we're just clicking right along here. We have a couple of ordinances and resolutions before us. The first resolution is a resolution establishing the Prairie Harvest Fest as an official city community event. I just have a question. I think, do we have to do that every year? Because I thought we did that last year.
We have been doing it every year. Yep.
That, I mean,
Just
do we
kind
have
of
to
a-
declare that it's, I mean, do we have to make that declaration every year, is what I guess I'm asking? Or, I mean, we've already declared it last year, and,
And the year before, I don't know. Is it something that we'd have
Is
to?
this the same language we had?
Yes.
Well, let me ask this. I mean, what you have in your resolution says September 26th to 29th, so I'm assuming that's the weekend?
That changes. Yeah.
So, I mean, that date, those dates will change each year unless
okay,
you do something, say.
Third weekend of September,
third-
whatever.
fourth weekend or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah, I just thought maybe it was a little redundant if we have to do it every year, but if the dates change, I guess, I don't have a problem that we do it, it's just that I wanna make sure, I just had
Yeah, I mean, you
clarification.
certainly could, going forward, do.
Would recommend maybe that we look to see if it is the third or fourth weekend of September,
Yeah.
to change that wording after this, and when we get that done for next year, but for time being,
For-
to go ahead and
Yeah.
get this
For now.
done.
Yep,
So we're
that's
good for
fine.
this year, and
And I don't know
Perfectly,
if the
yep.
organizers have any thoughts of it ever moving around.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, either way, it's not, I mean, it's not that big a deal, but I just thought,
I agree, just curious that, yeah, we do it every year. And
any other discussions on that resolution? I know, it's refreshing to see the energy that's going into that again. I mean, they've already began planning, and certainly give a shout out to anybody out there that wants to get involved, because they'll, you know, it takes a lot of people to make an event like that happen. So if you feel so inclined, certainly look up Geraldine out there at Heartland, and I'm sure they'll find some work for you. All right,
I will move approval of a resolution establishing the Prairie Harvest Fest as an official city community event.
I'll second.
okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve that resolution establishing the Prairie Harvest Fest as an official city community event. I'll ask for a roll call vote on that resolution, please, Carolyn.
Councilmember Salvi, Correll,
Yes.
Gallatin, Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Walters.
Yes. Okay, the next resolution before us is a resolution authorizing fund transfer. And I believe our finance director, Whitney Millard, is gonna speak to that, so have at it, Whitney.
All right, so this is something that we look at the end of each year as we're prepping for our audit, which we're currently in the middle of right now. And it just kind of depends on the year. Last year, we weren't able to transfer any excess funds because 2023 ended up really close. But for 2024, Becca and I sat down and we were able to comfortably suggest transferring $400,000 out of our general fund to the capital outlay fund. And this stems from current adopted policy that the city has, and we've had it for many, many years, just to ensure the financial strength and stability of the city. The council endures that we maintain at least 35% of the city's general operating fund. So even with transferring this excess $400,000, we are still above and beyond that 35% buffer. You might ask why some years it works and some years it doesn't. I just did a quick analysis of how 24 ended up, and we had, we implemented that camp spot out at the campground, and that actually resulted in $20,000 more in revenue than the previous year. So that's kind of proven itself to be very beneficial for the city. Our transit fares, it was an extremely busy transit year. We had over $20,000 more than budgeted for revenues. We finally got to use our full airport after all these, there's been tons of projects out there, so airport fuel sales were over 20 grand. We had exceptional investment returns in all of our investments, so the general fund alone had over $50,000 in interest income. So, there was just different items in the revenues that were quite a bit higher than what was budgeted for, so that was attributed to being able to transfer the $400,000.
A question on fuel sales at the airport, that you say at 20,000, is that profits or fuel sales?
Fuel sales, yep. But then we always have, we have a rolling average to make sure that we're never gonna be losing money on the price at the pump, but we were,
Just curious what the updates and upgrades we've done with pumps, tanks out there, that we are generating a profit to try to help cover the cost of that.
Looked at every month.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I can say we're in a good spot. Becca, about a month ago, you and I had the opportunity when the League of Minnesota Cities representatives came out here. There was a small group of some of the administrators from surrounding communities, and they probably aren't in as good a spot as we are. So we can really, I think, feel good about what we have going on in Morris to that end. And that's a testament to Whitney, Becca, and all the people that manage the dollars and cents, because it takes a lot to make that happen. So I just want to give you a shout out for that. And I think that the community can feel good about where we're at as a city.
The only other question that I have, backdating, so because in front of us the resolution says 12/31/24, and that's specifically so that it is in the 2024 calendar year.
Yes, yep, that's a good question to ask, but yes, this would be, we want it to be taken into effect for 2024. So yes, that is the correct date.
Okay, any other discussion on that resolution?
I'll make a motion for the approval of the resolution authorizing a fund transfer.
I will second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second authorizing the resolution, or a resolution authorizing the fund transfer in the amount of $400,000. We'll have roll call vote on that, please, Carolyn.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Watson, Correll,
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes. Okay, we shall move on. Next item before us is our city manager's reports and recommendations and her newsletter.
Yeah, so I attended the MCMA winter workshop on Friday, January 31st. Most of the day was focused on belonging and support. One of the speakers talked a lot about actually, that you are only as successful as the support you receive. So he shared that belonging is a safety net for people. things that make a difference is compassion, authenticity, resilience, and empowerment. His last words of wisdom were that growth happens through difficult times. And then in the afternoon, had a peer panel, heard from other administrators, managers that talked about, one talked about adversities that she faced in her role with burnout and lack of support from her council and her HRA. One shared on changes and how their city functions. So he went from just being a manager and then having his hands in everything to then getting an assistant and experience with how that all came about with the ideas of council and himself and how the change happened in their city. And then the last shared experience of a loss of a child, and just talked about the sense of community within staff, within the actual community, and just different things he learned along the way, dealing with personal leave and bereavement leave and FMLA and all of that. So a lot of good things and discussions that came out of it, plus networking. So very good day. The airport, we sent out for RFPs for airport engineer. They're due back next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. So we'll take a look at those. Tom leaves on vacation on Thursday, so we'll take a look at those and bring a recommendation to the next council meeting. The legislative session, we're in the 5th week. We haven't seen a whole lot, but the Democrats did finally come to the table in the House, so hoping that we can start working together to get some things done this session. So I leave tonight after council for the legislative coalition's legislative day. So I meet at 9 o'clock with Representative Anderson, and then 11:30 with Senator Westrom. And then in the afternoon we'll be talking from the coalition on different things, so different panels and different things from them. So we still have a tourism board position and an airport board and a planning commission position open. The local government training I did send you all in the packets the information that was given out at the local government training. So Kim and I both went. Very good turnout, I thought. We as administrators, managers, we sat in a different room, talked about different things that we're working on, discussion, all of that. As you saw, I will try and send out a weekly update for you on Fridays. Don't fault me if I forget, but that is a goal of mine to do. And then some things that we're talking about and getting information on is other cities are looking at their fire rates, and so are we. So just kind of seeing how they're doing things, and it's always a good group to get together and shoot ideas off with. Upcoming events, there's still time to partake in some upcoming opportunities. So there still is that Elected Leaders Institute program that's in Alexandria on February 28th through March 1st. If anyone would like to go to that. There is a League of Minnesota Cities Day on the Hill on March 6th. If anyone would like to go to that too. So it's kind of like the one that I'm going to tomorrow. It's just with the league instead of the coalition. And then the last thing on here is a petition for an ordinance. I did provide that. Per our charter, members of the public can circulate a petition for a proposed ordinance resolution. So a committee of 5 has submitted their intent to circulate a petition with the proposed ordinance to preserve Eastside Park. They have 90 days to get 10% of the last election voter count. If they fail to do so, they'll have an additional 30 days. If that fails, then the matter dies. If they get enough signatures, it would come to council as an ordinance. So you'd have to have a public hearing and then either approve it with amendments, or let it go for a special election. And that election needs to happen, I think, within 65 days of that. So if you have any questions about the proposed ordinance, let me know. But they have already, I think, started circulating it, so.
That just goes off of the, election results from precincts 1, 2, and 3, right? Just those 3 precincts, the numbers?
That's all we have, yes.
Yeah, I just want to be clear, so, you know, townships and all that stuff doesn't get ruled into it, so
No,
it's
it's just the cities.
precincts 1, 2, and
And
3.
signatures would need to be by residents of the city of
Mhm.
Morse.
Yep,
Yeah, that was the other question I had, but makes sense.
yep. So when we get it back, then we have to verify all that information. Mhm.
All right, any questions of the city manager's newsletter? Thanks for that local government training information. That I read through some of that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, we're hoping to do more of it. We meet not next week, the week after, as a group to kind of collaborate on how it went and kind of what next steps, if we want to do something like this again, or if we want to reach out to the league and the coalition and say, hey, it was really well attended. It was everyone who was there would like to do it again. They all had some ideas on different things they'd want to talk about. Is this something that the league or the coalition could, you know, pay for? This last one was provided by the Southwest Initiative Foundation, gave us dollars to put this on. So, and then we paid a little bit, but you know, to get a speaker in there, it cost some dollars. So we do have dollars, like, you know, I was telling Kim on our way back, we do have dollars for training. So if, you know, if no one wants to go to some of these upcoming trainings, we do have dollars that, and I'm sure other cities budget for their councils for training too, that if we want to do this, but we kind of felt as a group that night that it was well attended and well received, that maybe we shouldn't always, you know, step on the league's toes. You know, they do something like this too, so maybe we want to try and get them in and bring them in to do more of a regional meeting.
A lot of moving parts to city government, so it's always good to keep it in first at front and center of your mind, I guess, so you make sure we do things correctly. All right. Any other questions or comments off the city manager's newsletter? We shall move on then to board updates. For those in the audience that don't know, this is the portion of the meeting where I bring it over to the council members. We all sit on various boards and commissions, and this is our opportunity to kind of bring the council up to speed on anything that's occurring in our various boards. And so with that, I guess I'll kind of open it up to the council. If you have anything to report, now would be a good time. I was gone the last 2 weeks, so I missed the chamber annual banquet. I heard it went pretty well, so I'm just assuming that. But I have a workshop where we have our annual meeting tomorrow, so that'll be an event. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be fun. It's an annual retreat for the chambers tomorrow. Have a leadership portion rolled up in that, so it'll be fun. Anything from the rest of the council on any of the boards?
Mine are upcoming.
Upcoming, sure.
Got a meeting tomorrow with Parks. I think Becca covered the tourism.
Okay. I guess what I'd like to do is, I see in our audience, in attendance, is our newest member of the park board, Annette Watson. So I'd just like to thank you for volunteering, and just it's really important that we continue to keep our boards and staffed, and it's nice to see that somebody raised their hand and willing to step up and serve. So I appreciate that. Any other business to come before the council? I know Mayor Ben up in Fergus Falls reached out to me just a couple of days ago, and he's organizing, I'm not even sure what we're calling it yet. We're gonna study, or we're gonna take a look at media relations in government, and it's gonna be sort of an open forum content. And he's still kind of trying to figure out how all the pieces are gonna come together. So just kind of be, Becca, I guess more for your benefit. I think I asked him to include you in on that, that event, so that's in the works. He's gonna probably have something for us either, if not by the end of the week, first part of next. Interesting kind of topic, I guess. Stay on top of your media, people. No, just kind of how I think what he's thinking is just how everything works, you know? All that good stuff. So anything else to come before the council?
Mayor Walters? Just the Charter Commission, we have the order appointing the members for that now. All that will be needed from them is for them to sign an oath and acceptance, which we'll make arrangements for that. So I believe it would either be up to them to pick a time they would like to meet for at least one meeting a year they're required to have.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's any request from this council with a resolution or through a petition process for them to meet, that's the other mechanism for them to meet up.
Do you want, now, are these individuals gonna be sworn in too, Joel?
So what's required is they basically sign a written oath, and that needs to get filed with the court. And we can certainly do a ceremony swearing them at their first meeting or something like that, or a council meeting, whatever people would like.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, once they have that meeting, of course, it's new for all of us and new for them also, and be beneficial so they can structure themselves. You know, obviously they might have to have a spokesperson or,
Yeah.
it's up to them how they wanna conduct their business, but, you know.
I imagine they might set some sort of meeting schedule or
Yeah.
figure out, when their next meeting, what's that going to look like?
You know, what we could do, with the council's approval, we could invite them to come to our next council meeting, and maybe in the interim, would they just go down to City Hall and sign, or would you rather just do the signature at that next meeting or something?
I would have them come in if they can, or I could even have them come over to the courthouse.
And then do the official swearing in at our next meeting?
Yeah.
Something like that, Joe?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, it's been a work in progress, but thank you for doing that. Things always seem like they take longer than you think, but it'll be nice to have, for those of you who don't know, our Charter Commission, we are obligated by Minnesota statute, state statute, to have a Charter Commission. We had one at one point, and over the years, the Charter Commission fell off, and we have 7 individuals that have volunteered to be a part of that Charter Commission. And they have, I guess, I don't know what the best way to describe that, Joe. Limited authority, so to speak, but nonetheless, they are an entity that can make recommendations to the council, but it's their 3 main powers are initiative, referendum, and recall. That's kind of the main 3 powers that are extended to the Charter Commission, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that thing works itself out. Anything you'd like to add on their roles, Joe, that maybe just for everybody's benefit so they know what this is all about? Or?
Well, remember that Morris is a home rule charter city as opposed to a statutory city. The charter, of course, is the organizing document for the city, similar to basically our version of a state or federal constitution when it comes to city business. So our ordinances, our procedures, if the charter speaks to how something needs to be done, will need to be done in accordance with what's in the charter. And of course, that charter can be amended from time to time, but that's something that the voters and Charter Commission need to weigh in on.
If I remember right from Tori Key's presentation, one of the benefits of the Charter Commission is really to give us the tools that we need as council representatives to do our job. There might be something that's somewhat, could be something in our charter that's lacking, that doesn't give us maybe it could provide more direction, more, not necessarily powers, but just more direction, I think, and how we could possibly become more efficient as a council. So I'm interested to that end and see how that all plays out. But I think our charter has worked and it's served us well over the years. I think I said this initially when we talked to the charter commission members that were here. You know, I'm not encouraging any radical changes to our in our constitution, and I don't think anybody really is advocating that at all. It's just, we're fulfilling a state statute, and it's just going to help us become better as a group. It's really the kind of the takeaway there. All right, anything else from members of the council? Hearing none,